So now if you're going to be making a live bouquet, what you're gonna need is your top dome, your light base, and some water beads. So the first thing will be to fill your dome with the beads. Make sure that you fill the dome, not passing where the inner tube is threaded. And make sure you're also filling the inner tube. Make sure there's some in there. So now that we have our water beads inside, we're going to start the looping process, and for the real flowers, you're going to want to do that first. So I'm going to start off with some tulle. You can also start off with some ribbon, whatever you prefer. So the first step will be to go and loop every other hole. Like so. You're just going to want to go around.
Okay.
See, and now that we've had our tulle all the way around, we're just going to finish it up by cutting the ends here and gluing them onto our base. And now that you're done with the top, I'm going to turn this over. And now I'm going to bring in a different ribbon. Again, we want to put a little glue here so that this could be easier to thread. Okay. And now we're going to loop from the outer to the inner rings, like so. And remember, you're going to do every other loop. And now you see every other loop. Now that you've looped, you want to take your glue gun and you're going to glue the ends of it by tucking it in to your last loop so that you hide that. And there you go. Now you're done. And now for the last step, we're going to be looping the inner looping system. So I'm going to take a thin ribbon . So now you're going to go from here to your extra loop. So now we're going to take our pair of scissors and we're going to cut the ribbon. Next, you're going to want to grab your glue gun and put a little bit of glue at the end. Be careful not to glue your fingers. And now that you're done with your ribbon, you're going to turn it over. And now it's time to start adding in your flowers. So now we're going to go ahead and put the flowers, and we're going to start off with our fill, and for this you're just going to need your fill and your scissors. So the first step is going to be to ream out the holes where you're going to want your flowers to go. Next, we're going to take the fill and you're going to cut it to your desired length. So I'm going to do that. Next, you're going to insert your flowers. Push them in. You want it to get a nice comfy fit in there. I'm just going to go around and put the greenery wherever I want. You want to make sure it's snug in there. We have our fill, and the next step is going to be to take your scissors, and then we're going to start using the bigger flowers to fill this in. So I'm going to be using roses for this. So for this step you're going to want bigger scissors. So we're not going to use the pair we've used before. And the reason you want bigger scissors is because you're going to need to make your holes a lot bigger due to the fact that your stems are going to be thicker on something like a rose. So you're going to want to adjust your scissor size depending on the type of flowers that you're using. And you want to make sure that the rose is snug inside. So you're going to push it all the way in. And you can add as many roses as you want. Okay, so now that we have all our roses in place, we're going to want to use a smaller flower such as this to fill out any empty spaces, and again you can do whatever makes you happy. So for this I'm going to start off with, this is what they look like originally, and what I do is cut the stem right about there because I don't want to have it to be too long. And then this flower is what I'm going to want to fill the remaining spots with. And because this is a flower with a much smaller stem, it's going to be a lot easier. You probably won't need to use your scissors at this point, but it just depends on the flower fill. So you can start just going around and filling in all the gaps. So now that your bouquet is finished, notice that we've had to move some of these roses because of how thick the stem is. So we moved them from the bottom and up to the top just because it gives it a nice hold, and you want to make sure the flowers are packed in there nicely so nothing's going to be falling or just loose. If you pack in all the flowers tight, that's going to be the best look for your bouquet. So now what you're going to need is the handle that you created earlier and your remote control. So the first thing to do is going to be to pick up your bouquet, push the red button so that your bouquet is ready to be turned on. You're going to get your handle and you're going to screw into the bottom base. There you go. So that's your bouquet. And then you're going to take your remote control and you're going to hit the on switch. And now